So I'm an associate professor, but I think of myself as an evolutionary biologist. My specific area of research focus is that I'm interested in understanding how behavioral interactions between species are themselves forces of evolutionary change. A big chunk of that part of research is me out in rivers, up to my waist in water, harassing insects. Ruby spot damselflies, which are like dragonflies, small little flying insects. One of my main experimental methods, if this sounds absurd, it's because it absolutely is absurd, is that I go out with a fishing pole and essentially fishing line, but it's actually invisible thread like magicians use. And so I am just flying around a duct-taped, harnessed damselfly and presenting it to other damselflies on the stream. It's absurd. Most of the days involve a disappointing amount of sending emails. The most exciting, weird days are the ones that are in the field, where you wake up and drive to a river and then go out, capture damselflies. Oh, the other detail that I omitted is that all of the damselflies along the river, I paint their abdomens so that they each have individual identification code on them. So, for instance, the damselfly that I often talk about the most is Vogie, violet, orange, green, yellow, because he had a really prolific mating career. Rest in peace, Vogie. But anyway, so the first couple hours of the day will be going around capturing unmarked individuals, painting their abdomens, photographing them, and then letting them go. And then walking up and down the stream with a computer. Oh, look, blue, blue, orange, blue is at flag 125, a half of a meter off of the bank. Things at this one site were just not going well, and it was a bit of a mystery because just a few months earlier, this river had tons and tons of damselflies in it. But I didn't mind too much because this site is stunningly beautiful. It's through this rainforest reserve. I had seen a jaguarundi there. So this is just to kind of paint the picture of this particular rainforest site as unimaginably pristine kind of environment. So on the very last day that we were working at this site, I was resighting the marked damselflies, and all of a sudden, one of the members of the field crew came around and started screaming at me, Jonathan, Jonathan, se están muriendo los camarones. So he was saying that there were these shrimp kind of crawling up onto the river, kind of flailing around in the water. So I walk around the river bend. Indeed, there are just these massive crayfish wriggling around, crawling out of the water just everywhere. And this pristine river is also the source of water for a big chunk of the municipality of Golfito where we were. And so we were like, okay, well, we should really let people know that there might be something in the water. Right as we started to do that and are walking up the stream kind of trying to figure out what it even is that we're looking at, around the corner come these two people with tote bags full of crayfish. And like a pipe in their hair, right? So they've gone out to smoke drugs and poison the river, and that explained why we weren't seeing any damselflies. This was almost certainly not their first time doing that. They were so brazen as they were doing it, right? Hey, we're hunting crayfish. And they were like, what are you doing here? I'm a biologist studying the aquatic invertebrates. And they're like, that's weird. And just complete shamelessness. I don't know. And as part of this scene, we were seeing these crayfish crawl out of the river and hawks coming down to try to eat them. So we were immediately seeing this toxic chemical move up the food chain. And so we were all devastated to see this pristine rainforest being poisoned by people that were poaching crayfish. But we also, it was our last day there, we were just like, let's just call it quits. And I got in touch with somebody that ran the field station that we were staying at and asked them to contact the environmental authorities. We didn't know what was going on, and we just were catatonic, really. Like, when we got back to the field station, though, we got a call that the environmental authorities had apprehended them kind of as they were leaving the reserve. So there was some small amount of justice in that. There are so many things that are happening to the environment that are beyond our control. But this is somebody that is taking an active and really negative approach towards their environment, and that is really hard to kind of wrap your head around. I could credit a childhood obsession that I had with rainforests, and then a kind of rediscovery of that obsession when I did study abroad. I kind of caught the bug, as it were, the figurative bug, and then couldn't really stay out of the rainforest for the next... Well, I mean, I haven't really stayed out since then.